everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. For those of you who do not know me, I am Lena Lassiter. I have my master's in human services counseling with a specialization in crisis and trauma. Also, an advanced grief recovery method specialist, director in corporate America, author and founder and president of Forever Healed. We are a nonprofit, and what we do is we assist those with a broken heart due to a loss of any kind. We want them to restore, we want them to reclaim, and we want them to recover. So, for those of you who are joining me tonight, you know what to do. Let me know that you are here. Show me some love tonight. We are going to be talking about intentional healing. So, we have Lakeisha Baker who's going to join us in 2 weeks, and she has an organization called Purposed Healing. She is a licensed clinical social worker, and she's going to be talking to us about intentional healing. So, tonight, I want to talk about gratitude in the midst of our grief and loss, right? Being intentional. So I want to kick off that conversation um, tonight. So again, I'm Lena Lassiter. I am president and founder of Forever Heal. We help those who are suffering from a broken heart due to a loss of any kind to restore, recover, reclaim their lives. And we do that via one-on-one classes, group classes. We go into corporate America. We talk about grief and empathy in the workplace. And we are proud partners of the Richmond Police Department Homicide Support Group and the Richmond City Sheriff's Office. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Hi, Tanya. Thank you so much for your continued support. Hi, Sister Pat. Thank you as well for your continued support. Thank you for joining me tonight, ladies. We're going to have a great conversation. I want you to feel free to ask me questions along the way. I promise you I'm not going to hold you long tonight. So we're going to get in and we're going to get out. But it's going to be good because we're talking about gratitude in the midst of grief. So how does that even work? Right? So, how does that even work? Does the concept even make sense? So, how can I be grateful when I have experienced a loss? So, I want to share just a quick testimony about some things that I have been personally going through over the past few months. Now, I'm not out here giving glory to my loss, but I just want to be very transparent because people often ask me, what do I do when I experience a loss? So my mother, some of you may already know, she was diagnosed with breast cancer earlier this year. It's her story. I won't get into sharing a lot about her story, but what I will share is as a daughter and as a caregiver, um, it was a loss to me, right? To see someone that you love go through a diagnosis and the treatment to follow. So Lena, how could you be grateful, right, in the midst of that? So some of you already know that my mother and I, we didn't have necessarily a great relationship, right? A normal relationship. And when I say normal, I know everybody's relationships are different, right? They're unique and individual. But what I mean is that we just didn't have a very close relationship like you would see with most mothers and their children. However, um, I have been there. I have been there with her, from her diagnosis. I've been there with her through her treatment. I've been there, with her and helping her and just being whatever she wants, need from me, right, during this time. So, what's my gratitude in all of this? My gratitude in all of this is the fact that I can be there. My gratitude in all of this is that um, I'm showing up and we have a better relationship and we talk almost every day and we hang out and it's more meaningful to us, at this point because we both understand that hey, anything can happen to us at any time. So are you walking in love? Are you walking in forgiveness? Right. So that's my gratitude. So while it was definitely hard to see someone again that you love go through such a traumatic, event and still growing through, during this moment. But I'm grateful that she's still here. I'm grateful that at the end of the treatment, well, she's already cancer free, right? So I'm grateful again to what God is doing through us, during this time. I see some comments. Hi, Minister Ross. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Yes, praise God to just show up, right? So a life of gratitude, y'all, it forces us to live in the present. It forces us to live in the here and the now, right? So you can celebrate what you are grateful for without being dismissive of your losses. So I can still feel what I feel, right? When I'm going through a loss, I'm not saying, because you guys know me, I'm always telling you to acknowledge it, right? Feel what you feel. And sometimes you have to sit in it. I think too often we try to mask what we feel, and that can be dangerous behavior. So you can still have a mindset of Thanksgiving while growing through your pain, associated with grief and loss. So a life of gratitude, guys, it forces us to live in the present, like what's happening here and now, right? And you can celebrate again and be grateful without being dismissive of your losses. Um, a mindset of Thanksgiving while you are growing through your losses. If the loss is a medical condition, you are most likely gaining wisdom that you didn't have prior to your diagnosis to be able to make wise choices, right? To be able to make wise choices with regard to your treatment and how you want to propel forward. So again, just learning through it, growing through it, right? So you might say, why do you say growing through? Because I feel like every circumstance in our life is an opportunity, in our lives is an opportunity for us to grow and for us to learn. Yes, I do want to be a lifelong learner. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to be in an institution, right, to learn, but I want to learn from every scenario, every experience in my life. Hey, how can I grow from this circumstance, right? So again, a mindset of Thanksgiving while you are growing through your losses. If the loss again is a medical condition, you probably gain a lot of insight on that condition that you didn't have, right? To be able to make sound decisions for yourself and to be able to educate and maybe be an advocate for others, right? I wanted to share my personal example because, again, people always ask me, like, how did you cope with grief and loss? And the response is simple. I use the same techniques that I share with all of you, right? Keeping in mind that there's no one size fits all. There's no one size fits all recipe, right? So I have discovered a thankful heart has helped me propel, right, to a state of healing by recognizing the small wins and the pleasurable things. Yeah, that state of healing, right? Recognizing the small wins and the pleasurable things. So that has helped me. So I just wanted to come out here and just share that with all of you. Leanne, hi Leanne. I love Leanne from Connecticut. She works with me as well. Thank you for showing up tonight, Leanne. I really appreciate it so much, more than you guys would know. So the first thing I want to talk about, shift your ear, your eye, and your mind gates. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Shift your eye, ear, and mind gates. I want you to recognize the things that are going well. I want you to appreciate the small victories in the midst of the storm. I want you to consider the acts of kindness towards you, right? People are being kind, towards you. Be grateful for that, right? Your support system, regardless of the size, because sometimes we get caught up in a specific person or individuals who aren't doing certain things for us. But what about the individuals who are? Can we be grateful for them? Whether your circle is 2 people, 4 people, 8 people, just be grateful for the ones who do show up and they are there for you and they are holding up your arms and they are supporting you. Let's be grateful for those individuals, right? And shift our eyes and our ears and our mind towards that, because again, sometimes we get so caught up in who's not doing certain things, right? And it's usually one person. And we put this expectation on this one person who's not equipped to do it, y'all. It's not their assignment. And then we get upset, right? And then we have some who are around us who are there for us. Let's be thankful for those individuals. So that shifts us to counting your blessings. Count your blessings. So make a list or get a blessings jar. And I want you to write down things that you are grateful for on a daily basis. And some of you might say, well, Lena, you know what? That's just not my personality. And that may seem a little forced to me. It may feel a little awkward at first. But I have like a little blessing jar, and I meant to bring it out tonight while we were talking, but it's a cute little jar. And what you do is you just put daily things in there that you are grateful for. So even those days when you feel like, or it appears that there's nothing to be grateful for, but trust me, there's something in every day for us to be thankful for. You can go into your little blessing jar and you can encourage yourself. Um, Also, again, journaling, just journaling things that you are grateful for, right? So if you continue to do this, then it will become habit because you will continue to put it into practice. And then the third thing that I want us to talk about. But remember, the first thing I want you to do, I want you to shift your eye, your ear, and your mind gates, right? I want you to recognize things that are going well. I want you to stop focusing on what's going wrong, who's not here, right? And focus on those individuals who are there. Focus on the things that are going well, right? I want you just to shift your attention to those things. And then I want you to count your blessings, writing them down, your blessing jar, your journal, whatever that is. Putting it on your refrigerator, on your mirror, just make a list of your blessings, right? And then I want you to acknowledge how far you've come. I want you to think back to the initial date of the loss. I don't care if your behavior has been reduced by one day. I don't care if you say, Lena, you know what? I was negative in the beginning for 7 days and now I'm feeling down for 6 days. Well, praise God for the one day. You know what? Because that's one day that there has been a change. So I want you to think back to that initial date of the loss. Again, I don't care if the behavior has been reduced by one day. It's still a day that should be celebrated. And I want you to celebrate it. And sometimes people will say, what's that comment, y'all? Y'all help me put it in the chat, right? What do they say? Like, I take 2 steps forward and get knocked 1 step back. Is that what it is? And I say, well, guess what? You still 1 step ahead of where you were. So you might have gone 2 steps and got knocked 1 step back, but you're still 1 step further than where you were initially. So be thankful for that progress. So be thankful for that progress. And then the last thing that I want to share with you guys is to just be. Well, what does this, Lena, have to do with being grateful? Because sometimes our loss and our pain and the challenges that we go through, sometimes it's because you may feel like you're trying to live up to somebody else's expectations. Sometimes you're disappointed by someone's behavior, right? Sometimes the loss is trying to protect our character, trying to protect our name, trying to protect our integrity. So this is an extra nugget for you tonight. Sometimes that grief and disappointment comes from expectations and disappointment in others. But we put those expectations on some of those individuals. There are times when we are trying to prove our worth. There are times when we are simply trying to prove our worth. And God said, just be. You don't have to prove who you are. Just be thankful for who you are. And I want you to walk in your true identity, walk in your authenticity, and walk in it boldly and walk in it proudly. Let me tell you what a wise woman once told me. She said, everyone is not going to like you. Everyone was not born to be your advocate. Everyone is not necessarily your enemy. People move and shift based on their own worldviews, guys. They move and they shift based off of their experiences, their upbringing. So how do you be grateful in that? You be grateful that you still can walk in your true authenticity. You can still walk and be true to who you are. Just be you. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to show documents behind it. You don't have to show your birth certificate. You just walk in who you were called to be. We are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. He prepared what you're working on now, the works that you are working on now, he prepared in advance for us to do. So you are walking out the work that has already been predestined for you to accomplish. So you know what? Walk it out with gratitude. Just be. Don't apologize. Just be. And when we stop looking at everybody like an enemy, you stop fighting. Because you fight your enemy, right? But again, everybody wasn't born to be your advocate. Everybody wasn't born to protect you. Everybody wasn't born to like you. And that's okay. You can be grateful and thankful that even those individuals, you can show them love, you can show them forgiveness, you can show them grace, you can show them that it doesn't matter what you think about me. I'm going to be grateful that I'm doing the work that was already predestined for me to do. And I'm going to continue to do that and not let anyone distract me. So, yeah, just be you. Just be you. Let's see. We have a few comments here. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yes, 2 steps forward, right, Minister Roz, and 1 step back. Well, guess what? You still made progress. Well, what we tend to do is we focus on that step back. Oh my gosh, I took 2 steps forward and, and 1 step back. And what do? We hone in on the 1 step back, right? And I'm like, well, you still 1 step ahead of where you were when you started. Hi, Diet. Thanks. I love you so much. Miss you. Hi, Tashana. I was just talking about you, Tashana. I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you for some training. We need some training. CPR training. Yes, she said, I love it. Just be who you are. Just be who you are. Just walk in it boldly. You don't have to prove it. I think the world say, show receipts. You don't have to show receipts. Just be who you are. Just walk in your gifting. Walk in your character, walk in your integrity, and you don't have to apologize for it. Oh, thank you, Sister Pat. I'm so glad that this has blessed you tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just be, guys. So that's the 4th thing, right? So again, how can gratitude and grief coincide in the same household, under the same roof? They can, because I still want you to acknowledge your grief. I still want you to acknowledge how you feel. But in the same time, in your daily walk, I want you to recognize just the little things that we can be grateful for, right? So we're going to shift our eyes, our ears, and our mind gates. We're going to recognize the things that are going well. We're going to appreciate the small victories. We're going to count our blessings. And we're going to do that by making a list of things that we are grateful for every day. Doesn't matter how big, how small. And we're going to acknowledge how far we have come. And then lastly, we're going to just be. We're going to just be. We have another comment. Good evening. Hi. How are you, sweethearts? I hope all is going well with you. All right. So that's it. You can have gratitude in the midst of your grief. The last thing we went to visit a family member who's struggling with some cognition. And again, I'm not going to get into this story because this is not my story to share. However, when we went to go visit this family member, we noticed that their cognition had progressed worse than what we thought. Well, gosh, Lena, what's the gratitude in that? We live hundreds of miles away. And to be able to see that, to know what we need to do, right, to help us to plan, to help this family member. So I can be grateful in that while still grieving the fact that this person is going through what they are going through. So I hope that this has blessed you guys tonight. I just wanted to hop on here tonight and just encourage you because I want you to be intentional about your healing. And I wanted to kind of prime the ground, right, for when we have Lakeisha Baker come and join us in 2 weeks. So I want you guys to set your calendars, set your reminders. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss Lakeisha Baker, a licensed clinical social worker, September 25th at 7 p.m. Purpose Healing LLC. She helps those heal from trauma, abuse, and betrayal. And her motto is intentional healing. You don't want to miss it. She's a great orator. The way that she presents information, I'm telling you, you're going to be on the edge of your seat. You do not want to miss this powerful woman. So join me on the 25th when we have Lakeisha Baker out here. Thank you. I'm glad that you feel lighter. That's what it's all about, Pat. We want to come out here. We want to help you to heal. We want to just share educational resources with you. We want to share, others with you who are doing great things in the community. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying these sessions. Also, hit me up on topics that you want to hear about. Oh my gosh, is that my Fawn Green? Have fun. How are you? I love me some Fawn Green, y'all. I got to get her on here one night with me. Powerful woman too. Entrepreneur, just doing great things in the community. So thank you, powerful women and men who may be watching. So if you feel that others could benefit from this broadcast, please, guys, I need you to share it. Let's get the word out, right? We're always sharing. People want to share negative things, but how about we share some positive things on how to help people and not being this woe is me, right, mindset, but how do we help people to heal? Miss Saunders, oh my gosh, love you. Thank you for joining me tonight. So if there aren't any questions for me, I'm going to let you guys go. Remember to share this broadcast. I need you to join me on the 25th for Lakeisha Baker. Thank you so much. Have a peaceful night, peaceful rest, everybody. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Good night.